Hey guys, Wages World here. Blue Kool-Aid talking to you. Today is June 4th, 2020. We'll start this video off just a little bit different, but this one will be just a little bit longer. If you want to fast forward through some of it, cool. But I got some stuff I really want to talk about, some stuff that's been going on here in my own personal life, and that does kind of apply to what's going on, around us. And, multiple other things that we got CMEs and stuff that are happening, the Venus conjunction that really, I think, has set the sun on fire more than so than it already was. But yeah, well, I guess technically the sun isn't on fire, but it's a fusion. Anyway, we won't talk about that. Anyway, so we're going to start here. Okay, guys, this is a YouTube page. It's AA VFX. And this person does a really good job with some virtual effects stuff. And all he wants you to do is give him credit if you use his stuff. Put it in the description and leave a link to, his page here. And, you can tell he puts a lot of work and a lot of time into this stuff. He's got playlists. There's literally hundreds and hundreds of videos that he's, little short ones that he's made. This one, well, I actually haven't even looked at this one yet. So let's take a look at it for a second. See how cool that is? He does it in 8K. So anybody that's looking for high def stuff, there you go. And again, guys, it's all, you can use it. It's not, no copyright, nothing. And, this is where I go. I've been leaving links to his channel. I just haven't shouted him out too much, and I need to do that more often. Because this is where I go to get most of my, there's other places I go to get some of my graphics and stuff for my intros. I just wanted to give him a little shout out, and anybody that's running channels, or even if you're not, go check his stuff out, because, as you can see, guys, look at that. It's just pretty cool. And he's got, this is the one from, well, let's just, back out of that one. So yeah, anyway. So again, this is his page, and you can scroll down, you can go through, he's got playlists, he's got, He's actually has a few of his videos that are like an hour long, just continuous, like stars and stuff rolling in the background. A lot of that kind of thing. And, if you use this stuff verbatim, like just throw it out there and don't do nothing to it. I don't know. I'm not sure how he feels about that. If you do, please give him credit for this or her. I'm not sure if it's a guy or a girl. I've not seen a name of who runs this channel. But again, he's got look at that, 3,600 videos. That's crazy. So obviously he's been doing this for a while, even before the 4K and stuff came out, because some of his earlier stuff is, not so high it's still high definition, like 1080p, which is basically pretty much all you guys need if you're going to broadcast to YouTube, because you can't broadcast it 8K on YouTube. It's just, if you can, let me know. But this is where I go to get my intro stuff and some of my other graphics and things. So, and again, there's other channels out there too, but this is the one that I use, and I think it's really good. So there you go. Okay, guys, we're going to jump in here with the Schumann. We got, like I said, we got some CMEs and stuff to talk about, and the Venus conjunction, and I do think that a lot of that's going on right now probably has a little bit of something to do with that. Certain planetary alignments at certain times of the year, or certain times even, multiple years apart from each other, they can instigate the sun to do certain things. They don't always have to. It's not a set in stone, event type of thing, but they definitely add to the possibility of the sun doing what it does, and at a greater level. And we've seen that the past few weeks. I don't want to blame all of it on that planetary conjunction, because I don't think it was. We got our object and stuff rolling around out there every 28 days. We got all kinds of other things that can, really perturb the sun. And so that's what we're looking at. And we need to understand that, sometimes most of the time, things are to be expected, just to be honest. Okay, we all knew that this alignment was coming, but very few people were talking about, except for people like me, and I think Scott might have mentioned it, and a few others, that, hey, when we get these planetary alignments, the sun sometimes acts up. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. you know, anywhere close in the next few days. And we started seeing some increased activity from those sunspots, you know, on the eastern limb of the sun off the side for like 2 weeks ago. And we've been talking about that here. And as it got more and more close and close and close and close to the direct alignment, we've seen an increase in activity. I mean, a consistent increase into where we had those M-class flares, all that stuff. Now, all that stuff can happen outside of planetary conjunctions and stuff, planetary alignments. We know that, right? But, you know, when we're dead quiet, like in our minimum, like I'm talking like dead quiet, and then all of a sudden, bam, you know, it's balls out. We're running for the finish line. You know what I mean? You got to wonder what actually caused all that to just, you know, jump off like that. And I do think that, you know, our object was on that side of the sun with Venus, and Mercury was actually over there too, but not in alignment. But guys, I mean, all that stuff was over there, and when those magnetic connections are being crossed and such, they can cause problems. So, you know, that's kind of what that's kind of what I'm thinking is going on. We may slow down once once Venus moves back on over, and we're orbiting, you know, away from them and away from it, and it's orbiting away from us, and those direct straight lines to the sun, you know, those go away. But that, I do think that has a lot to do with it. So anyway, we're gonna jump here into Schumann. So this isn't anything that we haven't been seeing, guys. I hate to say it like that, but I think this is becoming our new normal. And more so every day am I believing that. And there are certain things in here I'm going to talk about real quick. But, you know, here's a consistent spike. This is what I would call, I guess, quote unquote, a normal type of spike. You got the increased intensity here, right? And there is no pulsation. It's just a solid color. But then you go over here to this one and look. Okay, it's all choppy. It's all broke up. So, you know, where this is blue and stuff, that intense frequency stopped. It stopped for that length of time. And, you know, it's like chatter marks almost is what I call them. You know, pulses, waves, whatever, however you want to say it. I'm not even sure I would call these waves. And the reason why is because they don't ramp up or ramp down like a wave does. This is like on, off, on, off. And I've been talking about that for over a year. We've been seeing spikes like that for over a year. I mean, like long ones, long duration ones that would start and then bam, go right back off. Now, you know, as you get up in these higher frequencies and stuff, you know, they do taper in and taper out. But that direct, just that straight line, no taper off at the bottom there. You know, like let's do this. Like right here, if you guys look right there, you can see even all the way to the bottom that was just a straight line shut off. That was not a taper down. Okay? That's more of a taper down. You see how it's not just direct, straight, hard line? It's kind of wavy a little bit. And it even kind of goes back the other way. So that's what I'm saying. It's not, that right there, in my opinion, is more of a natural type of spike. I think that these other ones are unnatural. They're being caused by something or something intelligent is having an effect on, you know, on this. So, and I think most people are agreeing with that. Now, something else. I was talking to Mike and Cindy at Evolutionary Energy Arts the other day, and I had mentioned to them in a text that, you know, I feel like I've been like set back to factory default. Now, let me explain. When I was a kid, I could walk into a department store like Kmart, and no, I'm aging myself by saying this, but who cares? But I could walk in the front door, and I could tell you whether or not the TVs and the electronics were running in the back of the store. Just from walking in the front door. Not even I'm talking like all the way on the other side of the store. And what it was is I could actually hear the hum and the frequency of the TV. Or any electronics for that matter. Not, you know, voices and stuff, like the TVs would be on mute or what have you. but I could still hear the electronics themselves running. And not a whole lot of people could. Okay, and there were a few, but, you know, I thought I was, and this is like when I was like 10, 11 years old. I played a lot of video games when I was a kid. I still play video games every once in a while, not like I used to, but I started testing myself, and my parents actually started testing me, because I'd walk in the store with them and be like, you guys hear that? You know, even as a kid. And I didn't push it because I didn't know what it was. They're like, hear what? What are you talking about? And they thought, you know, I was being crazy. I'm like, well, you know, I'm hearing that. And I said, and it gets stronger as I get closer to the, you know, the electronics department. And so they started testing me. And so when I would walk in the door, they would ask me, you know, are the TVs on or are they off? And I'm telling you guys, every time I was correct, 100% of the time. And my parents just couldn't believe it. Now, as I got older, I kind of quit hearing that. And I just kind of chalked it up to getting older. You know, hearing getting worse. And I actually kind of forgot about it. Now, a couple weeks ago, I walked into a Walmart and I heard that again. Now, it might be just because I'm becoming more aware of the Schumann here. And, you know, I've always been sensitive to this stuff anyway. So, but now my focus is a little more here than what it was before. Maybe that's why. I don't know. But I did hear it. And I thought, man, I haven't heard that for like 30 years. So anyway, the following week, I took my son with me. And I said, listen, when we walk in here, and I said, this is going to sound crazy to you, but I'm going to tell you whether or not the TVs are on in the back. And he's like, okay, whatever. He didn't really understand why, but it is what it is. So I walked in there. And I looked at him. I said, hey, the TVs are off. I said, I didn't hear it. I didn't hear the frequency. And, you know, obviously I thought, well, maybe I'm wrong. Because, guys, listen. When's the last time you walked into a Walmart or a department store, for that matter, and the TVs weren't on? Can you guys remember a time? I don't think you probably could, because it doesn't happen. I mean, they always have that stuff running because they're trying to sell their product. And sure enough, we walked to the back, and them TVs were off, guys. I couldn't even believe it. I mean, I was like, what? And so I know that I'm hearing that again, is what I'm trying to say. And what does it mean anything? All it means to me is that now I'm aware of it. And now that, you know, maybe the frequency is increasing, and we can probably show you that with this tool right here. You can see, this is our new norm. It's not going to go back the other way, guys. This is going to continue to increase, and it's going to keep getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And wherever it stops is where it stops, but it's not going to stop anytime soon. So, you know, like I said all that just to let you guys know that if you guys are feeling the same kinds of stuff, you're not alone. All right? Don't think you're crazy, because you're not. You know, there's people here that will talk to you about this kind of stuff. If you don't want to talk here in my comment section or email me, you can contact, go over and watch Mike and Cindy at Evolutionary Energy Arts. You can go over to, excuse me, Higher Realm Holistics. Go check her out. She does a really good job, explaining this too. So, listen, there's a lot of places to go. So just don't think that you're crazy. That's what I'm trying to say. Just take some comfort in the fact that other people are experiencing this too. And you're not alone. You're just not. So that's what I would say to that. Now, there's one more thing here I want to talk about, and that's this line, this code, right? I call it a code. May or may not be. Don't know. But it's that dash line that we've been talking about for a very long time here on my channel and others. But now, a data point on here, guys, is vertical. So when it plots a point, it plots it vertically like that. So with that being said, in order to get a dash line, you have to have that same frequency hit multiple times in a row over a period of time. That's like an hour or two right there. That same frequency stayed there at that intensity for 2 hours. I think 2 hours. Let's go down here and look. Well, about an hour, I guess. Yeah, it was about an hour. So that's what it takes to get a horizontal line like that. But now, and we've seen this before, but not to this extent. Now we're seeing it in the vertical signatures. Okay, look at that. Okay, that line's broken up. And what that means is that single data point is missing that frequency right there. It's not as intense in that spot. So that's why it looks dashed. So I'm telling you guys all this because this doesn't seem natural to me. That has to be something that's being done unnaturally. Now, whether we're doing something here on our planet, could be a side effect of it, don't know. Or it could be somebody intentionally trying to do this. It could be something from outside our own world causing all this. Who knows? But I did want to bring that to you guys' attention because that is something that we haven't talked about a whole lot. Is now we're starting to see it not only vertically, but horizontally. So, I mean, it's all there at the same time. So you have to wonder, is something really, or is communication trying to happen here? Or what's going on? Or is it just simply a side effect of something that we're doing? Who knows? But, I do think it deserves some discussion. So that's why I'm talking about it. Okay, guys, I got you over here at spaceweather.com. And guys, again, these guys do a good job. Go check them out, please. But, we're not going to talk about this penumbral lunar eclipse right now. I want to talk about this other stuff because this video is going to be long enough as it is. But the inferior conjunction of Venus happened yesterday. Okay? And to let you know what that is basically Venus it passed really close to the sun. And, from our viewpoint, from our perspective over here where we're at. Okay? Again, the astronomers, they call that inferior conjunction. So that's where the name comes from. Now, when they're viewing this thing, guys, they have to actually take all the stuff on their telescopes and stuff that could possibly catch fire. They have to take it away. That's how close they're looking at the sun. It's like a magnifying glass, guys. As a kid, I'm not sure if anybody ever did this. You go outside with a magnifying glass or even a pop bottle or whatever, and you focus that light on the ground, you can catch stuff on fire or even like roast ants, like I used to do when I was a kid. But yeah. That's why they do that, because it's really dangerous for people that don't know what they're doing to do this, to try to view this. Now you can see what it does. See how it's backlit? That means that Venus is in front of the sun there. It's backlit. The sun's backlighting Venus, and that's what you're seeing there. It's really cool. It's cool stuff that's going on. But here's the progression. And most of us have seen stuff like this with lunar eclipses and stuff like that. That's what this is probably what it's going to remind a lot of people about but that's not what this was. This was the inferior conjunction of Venus. It got really close to the sun from our viewpoint. Okay, and so yeah, I just thought that was really cool. Now that goes right back into what we were saying, because we're in alignment and all that. I do think that it's causing some stuff, and I'll show you here in a minute. And this is one of them. Okay, check this out. We now have a sunspot, and it came out of a place that nobody thought it was a couple days ago. We started talking about this one particular sunspot a few days ago, but obviously you can't designate it as a sunspot until we can see it, and that's what it now has a number. It's an official sunspot. What that did was it broke our days without a sunspot streak, and I think it was up to 30 or 40 or something like that. I can't remember. But as you can see, just with 1 or 2 days there of having that sunspot here, it's already dropped the percentage back down to 78. So I do look for the end of this year for that number to be lower than this first one, than last year, 2019. I do think that trend will continue. I think we're going to start seeing more and more sunspots. If this thing survives, it'll be in front of us for, gosh, a week. Okay, so that's 7 days right there, if it survives. Sometimes it's a phenomenon that when it gets the Earth facing, a lot of times these things they'll peter out, they get weaker. And it's something that they know happens. And I'm not really sure the science behind it, but I have heard a lot of people talk about that, and I've read a few papers and stuff on it, and that is something that's real. When stuff gets closer to Earth facing, sometimes these things just peter out. So, but that is an official sunspot. Now, I guess we can go look at that sunspot if you want to. Let's see if I can't zoom in here. It says, what's the sunspot number? And there's a number for it. We're not going to look at that right now. Maybe I can just click on this picture. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so there it is. Okay, now you can see what's underneath it. That is what they look for. Okay, they're looking for, usually when you see these, they're like blues and reds and yellows and stuff. And they, you got different polarity. You got to have a positive and a negative, and obviously that's what we're talking about here. And whichever one's on what side determines what solar cycle it's from. And this is from solar cycle 25. So I do think that we're pretty much done with solar cycle 24. We may see another one or two, who knows. They'll probably, and I read a paper where they're actually probably going to go ahead and keep us in like solar cycle 24 officially, and then they're going to retroactively go back after we get all the data in and wait a few weeks or whatever, and go back and say, well, solar cycle 25 started back in June or back in May or whatever they decide, right? So that's what we're looking at. Okay, as far as that sunspot. Now, that sunspot's already doing stuff, guys. So we're going to go take a look at that stuff, too. Okay, guys, this is LASCO C2. This is from our view. All right. The satellite sits right out in front of the Earth, and that's what it does. It looks at the sun. It's about 1 million miles closer to the sun than what we are. And this is a really good capture here to show you guys Venus and why we know that it became more of a straight line event than it did just crossing our path here. Okay, because what you're seeing is, you see it, how it looks almost as if it's getting closer and closer to the sun, right? Well, it's really, it is from our viewpoint, and that's what we're talking about. So it's not just going like, it's not like we're just passing Venus and being like, oh, there it is, there it goes. No, this is something that we line up because of angles and all that I'm not going to get into. But this thing most definitely looks, it isn't typically what we see when Venus crosses this viewpoint. All right, usually it just goes ahead and crosses on over. This thing actually looks like it's fading into the background, doesn't it? Okay, but it's not. It's not moving that fast that direction. Okay, everybody's moving and it's just changing that angle. So that's why it looks like it does. Now, I was going to do a video last night, and I actually made a small one and I didn't post it, but for no other reason. And here's the reason. Okay, I've always told you guys I don't like to do videos just to do a video. And again, last night I kind of felt like that's what I did, so I didn't post it. I'm not going to post stuff that I just doing a video just to do a video. So if you guys ever see a couple days in a row that I don't do videos, that's probably why. I'm just not going to get on here just to say the same stuff over and over and over, and just so you guys have something to look at that's the same stuff that I talked about the day before. I don't want to do that to you guys. I think it's at some levels I think it's irresponsible when people do that, because they're just trying to get clicks and views, and that's not why I do this. So, but anyway, here's the last of that day, yesterday. And obviously you see Venus in the picture, but what a lot of people probably missed here. Now see, look, if you look at the timestamp, this is at 16:24. So we're missing 8 hours. I mean, well, like 6 hours, okay? Actually, it's probably more like 8 or 10 if you go, because stereo A, or you go to the next day here, you don't start getting data until like the first or second hour. But something I noticed right at the end of this was this, okay? Now, again, is that a big deal? Not if you stop right here, it's not. And what I'm talking about is that. Okay, what that is that is a start of a CME, and I knew that it was. But I wasn't going to just jump out here and say it because I couldn't see anything else on it. Obviously, we needed more data. And I hated the fact that because if this thing had all its data in for this day, if it wasn't missing anything, I probably would have went ahead and did a video, because that would have been something we needed to talk about. And so I didn't because of that. Now, we're going to go the next day and check this out. Okay. Look at that. Okay. Now, again, let me say this one more time. I do not think it's a coincidence that you see Venus poking its ugly head around that occulter on the same side as that CME. Okay? First off, that CME is one of the strangest looking CMEs I've ever seen. You can legitimately, and I'm going to slow this down because you're going to see that red and blue line that you're seeing going across the screen there. That's what it's doing, is the tool's seeing a CME, and it puts one color, the front edge, and then the other color is trying to outline it. So it's trying to show you the shape of the CME is what it's trying to do. So I'm going to slow this down. Watch how fast this thing like zips on out. You can see it with the red lines, red and blue lines. See that? I just thought that was strange. And then shortly after that, here comes Venus. Right? There it goes again. And again, we're missing data here, guys. Okay? Watch the timestamp. 1, 2, 3, 11. You see that? There's 7 hours of data we're missing. So that thing is, it looks like it's zipping past, but it's actually probably not. It's probably moving at a different speed. Now, it could be moving fast, but let's look. Let's find out. When did that start? Right there. No, I guess it didn't. The whole time that was moving, that was actually keeping time. So, yeah, that's how fast it actually was moving. And, well, it's according to this tool, okay? Something else, guys, you can see the jets popping out here of energy. So that's telling you that most definitely was a CME. I don't know if it's heading at us yet. Okay, like I said before, I went over to Stereo A, and Stereo A ain't giving us any data right now, guys. Here, we'll go to it. I'll show you. The last data we get is on the 3rd. Okay, and what we see at the end of it is that start of that CME. See, watch it get real bright right there. Right about. See how it's doing that? So that. The Earth is off to the right on this view. The Earth's over here. But this thing could still be going that direction. It just would look like it's coming this way. But there is a chance that could be coming at us, guys. I don't think it's going off the backside. I know that. And let me show you something here, too, that I really didn't expect. You remember my last video when I showed you that object that could have been a UFO or whatever, and I seen it on Stereo A and LASCO C2, two different satellites, showing an object in the same spot that nobody's talking about. Well, this is what we got at about 8 something yesterday on Stereo A. Now, if you remember right, I don't think that's a camera anomaly, okay? First off, I don't think it's a cosmic ray. It's not taking that shape, okay? It could be, I guess, but I don't think it is. If you look here, you can see that it has something right there in the middle. All right, now this one does seem to be just a touch different than the one I showed you yesterday or 2 days ago, because if you look here, there's a brighter, head to that. But then you got this broken piece right here. So, I don't know what's going on with this. This could be related to that object I showed you guys. Now, you can faintly see the head of it here. But it most definitely is not as bright in the middle. Okay, if that was a cosmic ray anomaly or just charged particles flying across this camera, it wouldn't have that break in the middle. Okay, now what makes me think that the actual center of the brightness of this is in the middle is the fact that as it goes off to the edges, you can see it start fading out. So if this is the middle, you can see the white brightness, and it starts going more towards reds on the end. Okay, so I do think, and if you look real close here, I haven't put no filters or nothing on this, but it's almost like I don't know what's going on with this. I hate to even speculate on something like this because, yeah, it's just like, if it is what it looks to be, wow, that's all I'll say to that. But anyway, we'll move on. Okay, guys, I'm going to show you some earthquakes here because they've been rocking and rolling. All right, we had one at a 5.5 in California last night. It was right there, I think. Nope. There it is. Okay. It was in Cyril's Valley, California. And obviously you see these colors, right? in these boxes. Let's click the red one. Let's see what we get. What that is that's a shake map. And what that means is it tells you who felt it and all that kind of thing, right? And the population that's going on. Now, first thing, the most important thing, guys, is the pager one here. I can tell you right now, I don't think there were any fatalities or really any even structural damage. Let's take a look at it real quick. It's saying right here, estimated economic loss is 0. Okay. It says there's a chance for fatalities, but typically, if there's no buildings falling and stuff like that, people don't die from these things. We've been used to these things for a very long time. People know what to do when these things happen, so it does help. So let me back out of that for a minute. But that did happen there. It was a 5.5, and and then we start getting these other ones popping off. Right there, there's a 4.4 in Puerto Rico. Now, I do think it's swarming too. And also, Yellowstone's been swarming also. They were talking, Mike and Cindy were talking about a magma incursion event possibly going on there. I don't ever discount any of that. It most definitely could be. And then we get to 6.8 down here in Chile. All right. I'm not going to take you to that one. Nobody was hurt in that one either. So those are all great things. But the fact of the matter is we've had a 6.8, a 5.5, a bunch of 4s. Here's the 5.5 in Cerros Valley, California. I do think it's probably close to Ridgecrest. I don't think it's the exact same spot, obviously, but I do think it's close. We can scroll over and we can see these other ones happening too. So if you look at that, there's a 6.4, guys. We got 6s popping off all over the place. There's a 5.1, a 5.7. So, I don't know what's going on with this, but it is what it is. So, yeah. So anyway, guys, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and end it. This is getting a little too long anyway, so I will show you. I'll compare what I seen there on Stereo A as far as, well, one second here, guys. I did want to take you guys over here. This is the CME tracker. It does not look like it's updated, so we'll have to wait and see if that CME is coming at us or not. Like I said, I showed you Stereo A hasn't got any data for today yet, so we'll have to wait on that also. I do think it had something to do with, the location of Venus and all that stuff that's going on. I'm not going to blame it all on that because I don't think that it's all because of that, but we got that sunspot now. I'll tell you what, we can go look at SDO for a second. Okay, guys, this is SDO. So after looking at this, I do think that CME that happened, I think it is getting pulled off to the western limb of the sun. Basically, it's going to our right. We could catch a glancing blow from it, but if you look up here, you can see this get pulled right off the sun. And that is basically the location of where Venus, traveled that direction. That's where the alignment was. You could see it on LASCO C2. You can see it here. This doesn't look like, it's almost like, a lot of times we'll see these things and they look like explosions off the surface. This doesn't look like that. This looks like it was pulled. Or at least instigated by something. You can see how it keeps going to that same spot. And the reason being is I think that's because of Venus. The magnetics that were going on there, it basically pulled it off like that. We've talked about that before with our object going around the sun. Scott talks about that a lot, and I think he's correct on what he's saying there. But here's that sunspot. Check this sucker out, guys. Look at the energy around that. That's definitely something we're going to have to keep our eye on. That is, like I said, guys, that is what we would see during, that's a true sunspot. That is something that's not just your garden variety, whatever, active area. That there is good, in my opinion. These things can die off just as, like I said before, just as fast as they come. But this one seems to be pretty healthy. So, take that for what it's worth. You can see it flaring there too a little bit. So, definitely keep an eye on that. But I do think that CME that went off to the right side of the sun from our view, You can kind of see where it's getting pulled here. It does look like it's getting pulled, not just exploding, is what I'm trying to say. So whatever is going on there, I think it has something to do with the magnetics from Venus and all that's going on, because Venus is in that location right now. And again, I could be wrong on that, guys. But I just don't think that that's a coincidence. So, but anyway, guys, we are going to end it here. So I'll try to come back maybe later on. I dislocated my knee the other day. I tripped over a rooster, believe it or not. Stupid thing was attacking me from behind. Like, obviously, I turned around to take care of that situation, and I tripped over him, and my knee's been popping in and out, my kneecap and stuff. I think I'm trying to rest today. My boss is kind of giving me the day off, and I worked for a little bit this morning, but been trying to take it easy today. So, anyway, guys, God bless. Yeshua saves, and you can drink this Kool-Aid.